1, 2, 3, go. This is the 2023 FDXCR race number 5 in Wauzeka, Wisconsin. It's a Hare Scramble race. It is a 1.5 hour race that consists of a 9-mile track that is a loop circuit. This was back in July, and I was running the stock Honda 2023 Honda CRF250F. It was a dusty day. Unfortunately, my goggles were fogging up, and I was having a heck of a time with my glasses underneath them, so I could not wear my goggles this day. Brittany was originally supposed to run, but she had some dental work done, and so she signed me up for the Vet 45 class. And I believe there was 5 of us in this group. And at the end of the run, I completed 45 miles, and I believe it was an hour and 38 minutes. I was tired and I was dusty. I did end up placing 3rd out of the 5 in the group. I could have done a little bit better, I believe, if I would have had a pair of goggles, because at some points it was impossible to see. The dust was just pretty heavy. In the wood sections, it was not too bad, and I could gain some speed and pick up some ground there. But as soon as I started getting close to anybody, the dust was kicked up in the field areas where the roads went through, kind of like cornfields. It was at a very large farming area. I believe it was a 600-acre farm that this was running on. This is Larsen's side-by-side ATV, UTV place. That is the name of the company. They do trail rides, they rent machines, things like that. This is the first event that motorcycles have ever been there. So it was kind of a unique experience. Motorcycles are not allowed to ride on this track or in these areas. It was strictly UTV and ATV only. I don't know, I believe there was 21 in the adult bike class, and that is split up into Pro, AA, Pro A, B class, C class, what they call a schoolboy class. It's like 15 to 17 year olds, women's 15 and up, and I believe there's a couple other classes. I was originally going to run it and as just a trail ride, because I forgot my AMA number. But Brittany somehow got me signed up in this class to race. And the Honda performed flawlessly as far as engine-wise and transmission. It shifted great, it ran great. The issues I have with the stock Honda, this bike is totally stock with the exception of some foot pegs that I put on, different foot pegs, and hand guards, and different clutch lever and perch, and brake lever. I put the breakaways on in case I tip over, so you don't have to keep replacing, the levers all the time. This section right here was really dusty. Coming up through here without goggles and just a pair of glasses, it basically blinded me. I couldn't see. And further on, there's a couple other sections I run into that's pretty dusty. A lot of loose sand. It was a couple inches deep there. Traveling at speeds of 45-50 miles an hour, some of these bikes were, and since nobody has ridden this track on a dirt bike, anybody riding a dirt bike on here was unfamiliar. First lap's always a slower lap because you don't know where the corners are at. They are marked with arrows, but it can still get a little tricky, and remembering all the corners and sections on a 9-mile loop, it takes a lot. And they'll sneak up on you fast, and you'll think, hey, that's a corner coming up, but it actually isn't. It could be another straightaway, or you could think it's a straightaway and then you're dipping into a corner. A lot of ruts, and loose rock. It was dry. It was very dry, so traction wasn't optimal. It would have been a little bit nicer if we would have had a little moisture before this, but it was a fun ride, super fun ride. I didn't take the Camel back, so I didn't have any water to drink during this, which was another mistake. There was a couple sections I had to pull over and take my glasses off and wipe my eyes out and cough up a pound or two of sand and dust. But Pretty much uneventful. I think I tipped over 2 or 3 times on the last lap. Didn't see a lot of people out there on the track because it was a very large track. So 9 miles is a pretty large area for to have 21 bikes on. They separated pretty fast, and everybody was kind of keeping their own paces. And I got lapped, I believe, twice, maybe twice, once, maybe twice. But my excuse me, my goal was to finish it. We were looking at about 80 degrees on this day, so it was not a excessively hot day, but running through the woods and using your legs and your arms as much as this, trying to keep the bike balanced and make it through the ruts, across roots and rocks, it takes a lot out of you. Couple good uphill sections. You could get up some speed, some nice windy corners. Used to more of like a single track riding, a little bit slower speeds. Some of these speeds were pretty fast because it was a fast loop. The bike, like I said, the bike handled great. Suspension wise though, that it's really not made for this. It's made more for a leisurely trail ride, but I pushed it hard a couple times. If you watch the video for very long, you'll notice the back end just chatter. A lot of chattering going down hills, a lot of skipping. Back tire was the main issue. Keeping the back end planted on the ground firmly was very hard. Front end was great. Brakes were great on it. This bike only has about 15 hours on it, but there is no suspension adjustments on these. There's a sag adjustment, and that's it. There's no rebound dampening or anything like that. So what you get is what you get from the factory, and that's what makes them more of an economical trail bike. They're not listed as a enduro bike or anything like that. They're listed as an inexpensive, or I shouldn't say inexpensive, but a cheaper line of dirt bikes just for trail riding. We had some muddy spots in this, which was nice because it offered another challenge. A couple good hill climbs and a few little jumps. The Honda does not, the 250 does not jump very well. It's a heavy bike. I think it's right around 268 pounds dry from the factory. For a 250, that's pretty heavy. You can get a comparable 300 two-stroke that's about 40 pounds lighter than that, but made more for this sort of off-road type racing. I was just passed by a woman rider that's riding in the 15 and up class. She's a very good rider. I heard that she also rides the four-wheelers and competes in the four-wheelers, and she's very good at that also. But it was a great time. I didn't hit any trees. I clipped a few pieces of brush. Along the sides of the trail there was the multi-floral rose bushes, which you had to watch out for. They overhang a little bit, but you gotta kind of, when you're running through these trails, I think I was averaging right around, with the times, it was about 18 minutes a lap, I believe, which is, right around 25 to 27 miles an hour, which is clipping along pretty good when you don't know what's coming around the next corner. Traction was great with the stock tires, and braking was great. The seat, on the other hand, is not a very comfortable seat on these bikes. We have 3 other Hondas, and the seats are nice and plush, but for some reason the 250 seat is a totally different beast. It's like when I was a kid, we had a little 5 horsepower dirt bike, and the seat wore away on it, and it had no suspension. It was all solid frame, and it was just one of those chain driven ones where when you're a kid, that's what you get. And the seat wore away on it, so we had a piece of plywood on there, and we put a little cushion on there, and that's about what this felt like. So in the future, I'm going to upgrade the seat, do a couple little upgrades. I'm not going to do any suspension work, because if I were to ride in one of these, I would probably go with like a Beta X Trainer I've been looking at, or a gas. And as you can see here, you come around a corner, you might run into somebody that's over or took the wrong turn. Right there is a prime example. I believe they took the wrong turn, thought the trail went the other direction. I do that later on in the video. I think at about, I believe, the 34-minute mark, I passed another gentleman in my class, the 45 vet class, and after I passed him, I thought the trail went to the left, and he followed me, and I put the brakes on, and he came to a stop and tipped over. But I did help him get back up and get his bike. He got his bike started, and we went about our way. So it was a good time. I sure was happy though to be done with it, because I was tired and sweating hardcore. So, and thirsty on top of that. Plus spitting out a lot of dust. Other than that, I'd love to do another one. I just don't think I'm going to do it on this bike. So if I do continue doing these, like our boys do, Rylan and Elliot, they do very well on the youth junior and the youth senior. I believe they both took first place in their class on this event. But the youth track is definitely different than this track. This is a little too rough and a little too big for them to ride. It is a challenge, and it was a good time. So feel free to watch if this is your thing. I did have a GoPro on the front and the back. I was hoping I'd be into more people, and it was a shorter track. 4-mile track would have been a lot better. You would have seen a lot more action, a lot more bikes passing, a lot more up close stuff. But as the groups separated and spread out, there was only a few bunches of riders I seen it at one time. So enjoy, and please leave a comment if you like this. Otherwise, the GoPros did go dead after about an hour and 10 minutes, I believe. Like I said, I went for an hour and 38 minutes on this, and it was a good time. So I encourage anybody to try it. You don't need a super awesome bike to do it. If you want to be competitive, though, that would help. But you can do it on anything you want. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.
direction. Wrong direction, huh?
I followed you.
I was like, shit. I'll help you get your bike back up, man.
Ah, just fucking short.
Need a hand there? Yeah, I thought it went to the left here. My memory's not as good as what it used to be. I got your front brake.
Can you hold it up?
Yep.
This is always my challenge.
Trying to get up on it, huh?
Up on this side.
Okay. Where at you want me?
That's the thing. I can get next to that tree. Mother Nature.
There we go. You got her?
Yeah.
Boy, she's a dusty one out here. Woo. Good. You missed the corner?
Huh?
You missed the corner?
Yeah.